Hello everybody, this is Rob Redman of Prior Studios and welcome to this Q&A video. Over the weekend I posted this image here that I've been working on an amplifier and a few other bits of kind of musical equipment. And quite a few people got in touch with me either via Twitter or email to ask how I'd done the kind of mesh, this cloth mesh in the front of the amplifier. So I thought rather than trying to just explain it over and over, it's probably easier to just record a video because it's actually really quick and really simple. So this will take all of about a minute. So I'm just going to move this out of the way, and I've got my scene file open here. You can just see that let's just concentrate on this cab. So this is just a plane. The mesh here on the left is literally, if I zoom in, you can see it's just a plane, and it's a plane of one segment. There's no real trickery going on here. It's all about the material. So if I just bring over the material for that, let's just move this so we can keep on seeing it. What we've got going on is some colour, bump, specular and displacement. And also I've got the illumination mode is set to blin, which is just a bit softer. If I turn this to Fong, you'll see this goes harder, and just looks a bit harsh for kind of a fabric-y type look that we want. So I've kept that to blin. In the colour channel I've got tiles, and this is a shader that you can find. Can't see it. Let's just go click on textures, and I think this is on surfaces, and you can't see it in the video, but it's kind of the fourth option up. Is tiles. So add tiles, and then you click on it and you've got a few options here. You've got the grout color, which is kind of I've used that as kind of the furthest recesses of the tile, so that's going to be black. Now I've got two different tile colors. I'm not using the third version, this blue, so it doesn't really matter what you do with that. I'm just using these two here. And then I've got the pattern set to weave. Now there are loads of different patterns you can have in here, so depending on what you want to actually show on your amplifier or the model you're working on, then you can change this to all kinds of things. So for example, you could do parquet, and then you'll see that changes, and you end up with, it's still quite interesting. You could make this one, you can make this kind of a nice kind of golden colour, and you could do a kind of a vintage look with that there. Now if I just move this out of the way, just move in, you can see how that's going to look. That might be quite nice, that kind of vintage Marshall look. But I chose weave because I wanted to make this match an actual Randall MB King, which is a Nuno Betancourt signature amp, which is what I'm trying to produce here. And that uses two different kinds of weave. So what I've done is I've got this tiles in the colour channel, and then I've just literally copied that channel, pasted it into the bump, and then in the bump I've taken one of the tiles and made it almost white, and then the second of the tiles I've made, you know, kind of pale grey, not quite as light as the other, but lighter than the grout behind it. And the reason for that is to use this as a bump channel, just to give a bit of extra surface detail. But then I've taken that again and I've put it into my displacement channel. Now the scaling of what you do here is going to be very dependent on what your scene is like, and don't forget you'll need to turn on sub displacement or sub polygon displacement, and I've cranked up the subdivisions to 4 here, just so that this polygon is then cut up, you know, numerous times for the displacement to work. I reduced the height from the default, which I think is 5 centimeters, and I've reduced the strength down to 18 as well, just to help a little bit there. And then the specular I've just got set to 21 width and height of 30%, pretty standard stuff going on there. And then this particular render was rendered using an HDRI. Now if I can just open up my content browser, let me move this out of the way, I'll show you which HDRI I used. So bear with me a second. I'm just going to open a Finder window because I realised that the content browser is not going to show you that big enough anyway. So I'm just going to go into here and CG HDRIs. Okay, so I used this image here. Now this looks quite pale and bright in here. It's actually a lot more contrasty when you see it not in preview. Preview mode always makes HDRs look a little bit pale and slightly washed out, because all the EXR information which is in there doesn't really show properly in preview. So that's the image which is wrapped around. I've also got, or I had in that one render, a softbox just to the left and up a bit, just a little bit higher, so the center of the softbox level with maybe the top of the bottles. That's from the Grayscale Gorilla HDRI Light Kit Pro. And then a couple of other props, so I bunged a few bottles that I'd made for another project on there, and then this microphone that I've been working on, which is another part of the same project. Since then you probably noticed that the microphone stand has moved and adjusted slightly, and I've actually got a more appropriate mic for miking up an amp, and also a bit of tape to mark where the microphone would go when someone would be miking up that particular one. There'll be more renders of this coming soon, and if you have any other questions about it and how I've done anything, then do let me know, and I can get some videos done for that as well if it's useful. So here's just a quick look around the model I've got. Let's turn display onto grid shading lines, and then you can just see what's going on. So I've got just a logo on the front and a few knobs and switches, and this is a luminous material, or the channel's got some luminosity in it there, and then just a simple leather texture, and that's applied to the cab there, and everything pretty much apart from this mesh is all modelled on. So because we're going to get quite close, or the final product that this is for, and the camera's going to get pretty close to some of the parts of this. So I've tried to shy away very slightly from doing too much in the way of kind of textures to simulate models. This is all pretty much being modelled. Okay, so leave me a line if you've got any questions, or you want to know anything else, not just about this project, but any other project that you've got going, or maybe you need some help, then do let me know. Give me a shout, either email or drop a comments, or send me a tweet, whatever it is, whatever you're happiest doing, and then I'll get a video recorded for you. Okay, until next time, I've been Rob Redman, bye bye.